I'm Elliot Truman.
These are the Dursley Boys.
And today we'll be breaking down some more videos from the
Dreamland series.
Please like and subscribe.
If you find a tarot card with instructions, follow them exactly.
This is just good life advice in general.
Smoke 13 cigarettes.
Point proven.
Drink the water in the basement.
Under what conditions would you not drink the water in the basement? It seems quite strange to me that somebody would have access to a puddle of water in their basement and not immediately seek to hydrate themselves with it. But some people are quite strange, really, aren't they?
Nail the door shut, then wait inside.
There are many reasons why you might want to do this. In fact, I can't think of any reasons why you wouldn't do this. There isn't an awful lot outside. And in fact, many things that live outside you most likely wouldn't want in your home. So it's quite sage advice to nail the door shut and carry on living your life indoors.
Look out the window at 3:33 a.m. Don't blink.
It's not saying that there will be some hostile creature lurking about outside and that you ought to go and look at it. What it's saying is you should look necessarily out the window, but at the window, in the darkness, and don't blink. Start staring at your reflection for so long, things become rather strange, and you often begin to lose sight of who you thought you were. You do this with a mirror, or with the water in the basement.
If you're ever tempted to huff a little petroleum, just ask Mike the Gas. Before long, you'll be a permanent fixture on the gas station roof, right where you always wanted to be. We should all be grateful to Mike the Gas for his help. Without him, the world would be a far worse place.
Mike the Gas. Well, he's clearly some sort of gas station attendant. But this is a very unusual gas station because cars are not allowed to retrieve fuel from these pumps. The fuel is purely for human consumption. Some individuals like to consume bug powder in combination with engine fuel, and this makes for a very potent narcotic. And Mike the Gas was in on the petrol bug powder business very early on. The main question then is whether he purchases his bug powder supply from the Crudfoot family or the Dursley Boys. Or does he make his own, which is quite possible, but then again, Mike the Gas is a solo operator. He doesn't have a lot of people working with him or for him. And also his gas station is in quite a remote location, which means that he doesn't get a lot of foot traffic. He has repeat customers, a very loyal base of customers. We'll explore Mike the Gas a bit more and see how he fits into the bug powder economy.
Which employee should Mr. Skin fire next?
We are deciding who Mr. Skin should fire. I'll give you my pick.
Godfrey, Mr. Fairfax,
No!
Simeon Vole, Haggart, John Huttle Blatherskite, Malcolm Gruel, Chancellor Chibberdy.
I think John Huttle Blatherskite because he's most certainly been stealing office supplies. I can't prove it. I believe that he's stealing staplers, but not for the purpose you might think. My conjecture is that John Huttle Blatherskite has a very strange hobby, and this hobby consists in stapling the feathers of birds that he finds in the park to his wall to create an art installation. And this art installation will be the shape of a pigeon's wings, and then in the centre, where the head should be, will just be the brain of a pigeon. And that brain will eventually decay, and the feathers will wither, and one can only imagine that John Huttle Blatherskite will not be around to witness the degradation of his art piece, because his persistent thievery will land him in jail.
Mr. Skin has a new employee.
Ah, Mr. Skin, hello, my friend.
They have already taken an immediate disliking to each other.
What is he looking at? Or more accurately, where is he looking at?
Mr. Skin says the new hire is lazy.
he calls everyone lazy.
But he has yet to give him his first assignment.
This is classic Mr. Skin, isn't it? You will criticise people for being lazy without having any observations to base this judgment on. And there is absolutely no reason to think that the new hire is lazy. He'll be quite an industrious, hard-working fellow. But I'm usually inclined to believe Mr. Skin, so I hate the new hire.
Mr. Longstrom says Mr. Skin needs to re-evaluate his managerial approach. Otherwise, he'll have no employees left. But that's a possibility Mr. Skin finds appealing.
So Mr. Longstrom does not like how Mr. Skin deals with his employees, and he levels a criticism against Mr. Skin that effectively says, if you continue treating employees like this, then you'll have none left. But this completely backfires, because having no employees, that would be great for Mr. Skin, because he hates people.
This man is addicted to bug powder.
This video is where we are introduced to the process of producing bug powder.
He simply cannot stop taking it. The substance is made by grinding chimera cridids into a fine dust. It is a powerful central nervous system stimulant.
So when I say bug powder is a powerful central nervous system stimulant, what we mean by that is that bug powder has similar effects to amphetamine. But bug powder isn't your typical Adderall type substance. It is also a hallucinogenic drug. So you will feel the laser focus that you experience when taking amphetamine, but also you will have these very wild hallucinations. And oftentimes, these hallucinations manifest in the form of paranoia, particularly if you are a long-term user of the drug. It's quite possible that you'll begin experiencing paranoia. Users may find themselves hallucinating figures and entities whose primary goal is to follow you around. But of course, the nature of these paranoid hallucinations vary between individuals. No hallucination is going to be the same when you're on bug powder.
You're the dirtiest park patroller there ever was.
So here there is a standoff between Park Ranger Simmons and Ranger Lobo.
Says Simmons. You youngsters are all the same, replies Ranger Lobo. All flash and no fury.
I lifted that line directly from The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which is my all-time favourite video game.
You wait till the Rotbelly Ranger hears about what you've done. Oh, but he won't. He's far too caught up with the dice to see the forest for the trees.
The Rotbelly Ranger is the leader of the park patrollers, and his primary concern is taking down the glorious orbital dice. Why? Because the Rotbelly Ranger has a pet chicken who died, and the glorious orbital dice, as the god of necromancy, naturally has the powers to summon the dead. So if the Rotbelly Ranger can capture the dice and harness those powers of raising the dead, then he will be able to reanimate his chicken and thus bring his pet back. As to the question of why his belly is rotten, I think we should save that for another time.
Whoever said accountants were boring? Wortum has an extensive collection of pencils, which provokes mild envy among his colleagues. When he returns home, Wortum works on constructing his flesh buddy, a human figure assembled from the harvested body parts of various animals.
What kind of animals have we got in there? The top of the head, so above where the nose would be, looks very avian-like, so I'm assuming it's some type of large species of bird. Maybe the whole mouth and nose area here is taken from some kind of fish. The teeth look somewhat human. They are jagged and yellow, cracked and pointy, but you could very well see these kinds of teeth in a regular human being. Then the skin, again, salmon-like, or a pig. Maybe it's a pig that has been left out in the sun for a good deal of time. So we have bird, fish, pig. I think that's what this creature is. A bird, fish, pig. Wortum's flesh buddy.
Who are you?
This video is more your typical weird core. I don't usually do this kind of thing, but I was feeling a bit experimental, and I thought I would make a video where it's a monologue of a character in this very strange, surreal realm. And the character is an employee of the Bureau of Latent Memories, whose primary task is to spread propaganda and misinformation about the polygods with the aim of overthrowing them and taking control of Dreamland for themselves, under the rule of Tiberius Bug, who was the mayor of the city of Pumping Veins. But this employee, or I should say ex-employee of the Bureau, was fired for having a psychological breakdown, the cause and nature of which is unknown, so we can only speculate, but in my opinion, his symptoms suggest chronic bug powder use.
Why are you in my realm? Put down that gun. This is a place of quiet contemplation, not violence. And whatever that thing on your face is, it's not yours anymore. It's watching me. They're all watching me.
They're all watching me. Typical bug powder-induced paranoia. Case closed.
Oro the Eversphere is the god of joyous occasion. His most devoted followers are the jester folk.
So this image here was used in the very first video I ever made, part 1 of the Dreamland series. And in that video, the horse will not move out of the way until you issue an apology.
And their king is Patchloaf Grinroot. Oro's primary duty is to maintain law and order, and with the help of the Golem brothers, he combats necromancy wherever it is found. As the bug powder war escalates, Oro's attention has turned to the conflict between the Dursley boys and the Crudfoots. A high-ranking Dursley named Leatherskin Luke
R.I.P.
acts as an informant, feeding Oro information about the gang's operations. Luke does this not out of loyalty, but to eliminate his rivals inside the Dursleys and gain power for himself.
When designing Leatherskin Luke, I had in mind the ghouls from the Fallout games. And Leatherskin Luke here is a Dursley boy, and he was an informant. He was giving Oro the Eversphere information about what the gang was up to. If he can get some of the high-ranking Dursley boys arrested, then he himself can rise the ranks among the Dursley boys, and then eventually gain power for himself by becoming the gang's leader. But it did not work. Leatherskin Luke was, in fact, killed by the Dursley boys, because they discovered what he was doing. Maybe he got a fair trial, we don't know.
The glorious orbital dice is not happy today. That's because the cult of the withered root has refused to postpone their sacrifice of the unfortunate hiker who accidentally wandered into their mountain lair.
How unfortunate.
The dice says it can wait, for there is word that the park patrollers, led by the Rotbelly Ranger, have discovered the key to raising the dead. But what is it?
We still don't know. Here's something to point you in the right direction. Raising the dead, which is what we call necromancy here, might not work the same for humans and chickens. Now, the Rotbelly Ranger wants to reanimate his pet chicken, so even if he has discovered the key to raising the dead, this does not necessarily mean it will work on chickens. And of course, the Rotbelly Ranger has no reason to reanimate anything but his pet chicken, because that's all he cares about. It's heartwarming. Truly heartwarming.
You drink some of Sadavar's tea.
This video has a very dark fantasy aesthetic, and the video is about you as the traveller consuming some of Sadavar's special brew. Given the fact that Sadavar is surrounded by mushrooms, one can only infer that the tea contains mushrooms, with the obvious implication that they are psychedelic mushrooms. They're not psilocybin mushrooms, though. They'll be a special type of mushroom that is only found in the Unending Grove. And Sadavar is a shaman, a wizard shaman. And you can go and visit Sadavar, and he will happily give you some of his tea. And then he'll say to you, now your task is to head on further into the grove and see what you find. Because if you drink Sadavar's tea, then the grove will open up a whole new world of possibilities, a whole new world within the unending grove, and you will see things that you wouldn't have previously noticed. Now what that means is this tea does not just produce hallucinations, but there is some interaction between the brain on Sadavar's tea and what is actually out there in the grove. So we should think of Sadavar's tea as something much more than just a psychedelic substance. It is an ancient method for traversing the unending grove, and you should bear that in mind when you pay a visit.
It's sweet, almost too sweet. He suggests you wander through the grove with fresh eyes and see what you can find. The first thing you notice is an owl perched on a branch. It watches silently as you pass. In the distance stands a stone shrine. You don't know its purpose, but its significance cannot be denied. Although it is peaceful here, there is equally a sense of unease. It is not the mushroom creatures hovering near the clearing, nor the deer drawing steadily closer. No, the unease is Sadavar. His tea was just too sweet.
Was Sadavar tricking you all along? Have I been tricking you all along? Have I been tricking myself? Has Sadavar tricked all of us?
Mr. Yogurt is very excited.
Mr. Yogurt is always very excited.
Today is the day he leaves the house.
So what do we gather from this? Mr. Yogurt is somewhat of a recluse, perhaps. This makes sense. Well, Mr. Yogurt lives in a place called Vista Springs, which is a sprawling neighborhood where the vast majority of the houses are vacant. Nobody lives in them. And Mr. Yogurt lives in an area of Vista Springs that is mildly populated because he has neighbours, and he's recently taken a great fascination in his neighbour's lawnmower. The function of a lawnmower is very self-explanatory. Nonetheless, Mr. Yogurt does not know what lawnmowers do, what they're for, how they are operated. He almost treats lawnmowers as a kind of animal. He goes to the lawnmower store to browse for a new pet. He's never going to find out that lawnmowers are just these machines for cutting grass. It's not as though he's going to come to some startling realization when he purchases a lawnmower, takes it home, and then one day he wakes up and his lawnmower has finally passed away. And then he'll grieve, probably quite a lot, and maybe one day he'll buy a new lawnmower.
But where's he going? Why, he's going to the lawn mower store, of course, but he's not ready to buy. He's only there to browse for an unnecessarily, uncomfortably long amount of time.
You can very well imagine Mr. Yogurt in the lawnmower store, perusing the aisles, looking for the perfect lawnmower, and making everybody in the store, especially those who work there, very, very uncomfortable with how conscientiously he examines the lawnmowers. And we would expect nothing less from Mr. Yogurt, because he is the type of individual who lives in his own world, psychologically speaking, and has never really learnt to escape it.
Bodkin spies on his neighbors.
Bug powder?
Convinced he's up to something, Bodkin's neighbors spy on him. Eventually, the whole street is under silent, mutual observation.
I really love this kind of logic, and you'll see it all over the place in my videos, where there are more questions raised than questions answered. And it'll start out with a strange proposition, such as Bodkin is spying on his neighbours, or Mr. Snofgus believes somebody is spying on him. And then we'll add another element to that, such as Bodkin's neighbours are spying on him, or Mr. Snofgus is spying on himself. And then following from that, we are led into this recursive loop of spying and self-observation and mutual distrust, self-deception, interpersonal deception. I often think about these kinds of things when I'm just going for a nighttime stroll, and I'll think, how can we push this logic, this backwards but simultaneously coherent logic, to the maximum? How can we crank it up? And it's precisely by adding elements like this. You know, usually in a story where there's some kind of spying going on, it's for good reason, you know, it's for this person is being spied on because they are suspected of wrongdoing. But in my videos, we'll never know what the wrongdoing is. The focus instead will shift to, well, what are the consequences of the surveillance, of the spying? Because Bodkin is spying on his neighbours and they catch on, well, they're just going to spy back. And then everyone's suspicious of each other, maybe even the people in their own home. It's a great situation to be in. It's very funny to me.